Mulțumesc, and thank you very much. It's of course a kind of continuation in a sense. So, and I hope to leave some more time for discussion after this lecture. So, about the gods and the monsters. Well, the title is a little bit provocative and, of course, on purpose. Of course, you can find many monsters, many sort of very strange figures in the pyramid texts, in any. I would stick on the term religious texts just for my sort of comfort, but as Professor Tatomir said, well, this is not a very fortunate term as well. It's for me, it is important because it makes difference between magic and religion, let's say. But of course, with this assumption that, again, religion did not exist actually as a, or this very concept of religion did not exist probably in ancient Egypt. So coming back and recapitulating very quickly, Atum created the unit. First of all, he created himself, but he was created before. No, that's wrong. He had been existing, and he had been drifting in Nu, in the primeval water, but he then self-created, that is, through the wheel of creation, he became a mound, the Ben heel, and he created the great init. In the pyramid text, you will find different inits, that is big, great, double, single, and very different ones, and elderly init as well. Oh, you great init, which is in Yunu, namely Atum, Shu, Tefnut, Geb, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. O you children of Atum, spread his heart to his child in your name of 9 bowls. 9 bowls, again, you have the 9 are for foreigners, for 3 different directions where the foreigners could mainly come. They could also come, could have come from the sea, of course, but it was not so important as it seems. So just a quick review of ancient Egyptian gods in the pyramid texts. This is Shu, who was, as I said, treated as the air, the luminous, that is light that could be seen in the air through the salmon of Atum, the kind of seed that was sparkling, that was stars. Or they were particles of Shu, actually. Again, Shu, the fnut, as a moisture, this watery nature of the air, and as I told you, I believe also the very first order of the word, in a sense identified with mud. Of course, the pyramid texts prove it. And Isis you probably know, and Osiris, these are 2 most known gods of ancient Egypt. Osiris, who was and the most famous myth, ancient Egyptian myth, is about Osiris, his brother Set, who was fighting with him to rule the Egypt. And Set himself, this is the concept of a, let's say, bad brother who killed his good brother to rule the country. And again, Set and Nephthys. They are siblings. They are sisters and brothers, but also Osiris and Isis are a couple, wife and husband, and again Set and Nephthys are wife and husband, and Horus. Horus, well, appears in the pyramid texts mostly in the sense of the son of the deceased king, that is the son who was left on earth to rule people, but also as let's say earthly human sort of aspect of the sun. I mean, in this case, the sun on the sky. The pronunciation is not much different. Horus in different aspects, and well, actually, in the pyramid texts do not appear many sort of syncretic deities as this one, but Horachti, yes. And of course, this image is also much younger than the pyramid texts. And as I said, Ra, Tem, Ra Atum, but you can translate Ra Tem as complete sun. That is the sun at noon. Not necessarily it is God, particularly that there are no classifiers, no determinatives after the signs written. And Capra, again, much younger. This is part of jewelry of a necklace. And the god Ptah. Ptah actually is not very, does not play a significant role in the pyramid text. He's mentioned only several times, like 4 times in the whole corpus, and actually not a very significant context. He was the main god of the Memphite theology, and there he was much more important than in this text. And Ptah again, untaught, or Jehuti if you prefer in Egyptian vocalization. In the pyramid text, he does not have creative aspects, but he is connected with the moonlight, with and the writing and wisdom. So again, taught with Maat, and taught writing, and taught us Fabian. And Amun. Amun is also mentioned in the pyramid text only twice. So again, he does not play a significant role. Much later in the New Kingdom, he starts to be much more important god or concept, if I maybe a little bit more right. And again, you can see here one of this late periods iconography, where you have Geb, and well, it looks like a little bit a funny picture of Geb, but it's real. It's not a fake. And you have Nut, but this picture is different from the first one I showed you, because you have Ra, the sun, and actually this figure is a determinative, usually the determinative of the names of the gods. If the name of the god appears, this figure, not with sun disk, but the whole figure with this curved beard, should be used after the name or the sign of nature, like this one. So just to remind you, all of those gods who may have some creative aspects, but most of them do not have them in the pyramid text. They have them much later, and that, and all of the elements. it is said about the gods, I quoted before in the first part of the lecture, that the gods were born, the same as the king. But it's also said you have your bread, Atum and Ruti. Ruti are Shu and Tefnut, depicted as a lion, or double lion, who made their two gods and their body themselves, namely Shu and Tefnut, they have explained here, who made the gods, begot the gods, and established the gods. So here it's said something a little bit different, different concepts of making the gods by the first couple of the gods, and establishing them as gods of different concepts, probably. I here use hieroglyphs just to show you that repetition of Aleph signs, 3 Aleph signs, one by one, and is actually untranslatable. And coming now to this part about creatures, monsters that might have been treated as evil, but I think this is not true. They were not having completely evil aspects in the pyramid text. Why, I will explain in a minute why I think so. Words to say, whatever, how to pronounce it, we don't know. I would like just to remind you that it's not as a vowel. It's alif, like in Arabic, alif or aleph in ancient Egyptian, and it's a consonant, but actually for us it's quite impossible to pronounce, because we don't know how the Egyptians pronounced it. Imhu, you have copulated with the pair of goddesses at the threshold of my estimable ruler. Well, this text is directed to great mother snake that the Egyptians believed comes from Near East, and she probably has come to ancient Egypt with the transport of wood on ships, and because she is a foreigner, she represents a foreign element in Egypt, so she should be repelled, but again, she should be directed in her own language. There is a study by Rainer Steiner who showed that some fragments of the pyramid text are probably alphabetical writing of a Semitic language from Near East, from the region from where the ancient Egyptians were taking wood. Well, in some cases he is probably right. This translation is, let's say, well, somehow very difficult to understand if we do not take it. Even more, this one where you have sequence of repeated signs like that, and most of the scholars do not translate the so-called serpent spells, because they think they are untranslatable or too difficult. James Peter Allen does, and well, you have this repetition of signs, which is, if you try to pronounce it, it would be something like kebab, he, t, b, t, shus, which sounds a kind of onomatopoeic effect, and I believe it really was, because and this is the feature of magical spells in the pyramid text, that there are lots of onomatopoeic effects. They are very difficult to detect, because, as I told you, we can only compare the text with Coptic language. In Coptic language we have vowels, so we can make some guesses how the Egyptian words were pronounced, but we may be wrong as well, because also the disposition of vowels in those between the consonants could change through history of ancient Egyptian language. But there are quite many such fragments directed to dangerous creatures as serpents or Set. Set is also treated as this kind of dangerous figure. Are you Set? On your face, be dragged off. This foot of Teti that he puts on you is the foot of Mavdet. Again, Mavdet. Mavdet is a concept, goddess who was depicted with knives and who was the protector of the pharaoh, who was very dangerous, and he was also associated with a hieroglyph that depicts a kind of a machine to cut heads, speaking in the most simple words, to decapitate people. And this hand of Teti that he lays on you is the hand of Mavdet in the heart of the house. In the heart, that means in the middle of the house of life. When Teti strikes you on your face, your venom will go and it will remove the blood of your jaw. See you, snake, lie down. Now, snake, crawl away. So again, the name of Set is given to different kind of snakes as well. Or words to say twice: on your side, lie prone, turn back, go, go. You whom Teti can crush, or Teti can redeem, or Teti can rescue. Your promptness is tranquil. That which is in your house is released. That which is before you is at peace. So you see, this is again a spell that repels a dangerous creature. This one, even less understandable. I don't know if you know what is tress or braid. When women comb their hair like that, and they do just being very quick to show you it's a tress or braid. So this reminds us this, say, form of a snake again, but perhaps we are wrong, perhaps not, and this kind of repelling and protecting spells are making quite a big part of the pyramid texts, and as I told you, are called the serpent spells. Even if not only the serpent is mentioned in it, but sometimes other creatures. And again, here, very difficult to understand. Caught one of the courtyard, you earthen one of the courtyard, long one, you of the foot, lion of Pechti, lion of Peteti, Pechti, Peteti, give me now your long one. Stack up the flesh, vow now the pot. The plated snake will be conveyed away, conveyed away. This is James Peter Allen translation, and just as a comparison, my translation into Portuguese of this same spell, which is quite similar to this one, but as I said before, this sounds, and if you compare the hieroglyphs, it always sounds like purposeful joining of different consonants to make onomatopoeic effects, like in other cultures, in magical spells like abracadabra and whatever it may be, just to make sounds. And what I think more, this basing on the theory of Steiner, who thought there are elements of other languages, these have elements of glossolalia, which probably you know what it is, that is speaking languages. If they really had to repel the mother cobra, the mother snake, and all snakes that were dangerous for the king and for all the deceased, they had to speak their languages. That's why they were just somehow transmitting, not knowing the language. That's why I say it's glossolalia, but speaking it. They were spiritually able to speak foreign language to repel the danger. And other examples, when you say that about hindrance and about anything that is against somebody. And here you have an obvious reference to Bibletus, that are the foreigners. That is why it's quite confirmed that they united, or they associated this kind of danger with the foreigners. But also, well, in the very beginning of the lecture, I said that these creatures, like serpents, like centipedes, turtle, or set as well, do not have a completely evil aspect in the text. They are absolutely necessary. They are necessary part of the words, because as I showed you in the first lecture, this beautiful word with dangerous high mountains and the lake, which is very, very deep, and this dimness, this deepness has all sorts of danger, as Nu had. And Nu is associated with all of those, let's say, darker side of creation. But this darker side of creation is absolutely indispensable in the creation, and it comes from the creator as well. This what actually is, you have also the lions, the jackals, and any other creatures that had this dangerous aspect appear in the pyramid texts. And when we look at the texts themselves, I mean the hieroglyphs on the walls, in some pyramids, as for example in the Unis pyramid, you can find some spells, some passages of the text where the dangerous figures were, let's say, deactivated. For example, through cutting the head. That means the head was a little bit above the corpse, or somehow the body was truncated, was destroyed to some extent to make it less dangerous. So here again, spew out with you with the liquid as water. Oh, you of the injured eye, headband of Seshao rain, you wretched one, cobra, repudiate, you windpipe, you of the hatted plant, alone, the lion is dangerous as water, which is quite strange for us. You who expand, do not expand. It is the larynx. Larynx is here. Well, it's a very difficult passage for interpretation, as you can see, and all of those magical spells are very difficult. And again, an example. And one more connected with Mavdud and the snakes. But this what actually is the evil part in the pyramid texts are not those dangerous figures. This really dark side of creation is called in the pyramid text, But is called in the pyramid text abomination. An abomination of the king are not serpents, are not Mavdud, are not Set, are not any of the dangerous creatures, but going upside down, that is reversing the order of the word, is eating excrements and drinking urine, and also saying the words which are not this what the king expects. So we have to favor the king with the words that exist and that are, I would not say true, because it's not really the case of being true or not. It's much more of saying this, what should be said. So conformity of words, it's much more important. Non-conformance of words is also abomination of the king. So these bad, really bad things in the pyramid text are going upside down, the reverse order of the word, where he or she, because the queens who had also the pyramid text, eat excrements and drink urine and be saying non-conformant words. Just to prove it in some words, it must be said that the serpents have also very good aspects, and Set as well, because Set, as the god of this bad brother, is also the protector of Ra. He is indispensable in the bark of Ra to protect the sun. Such snakes as Urei are extremely important, and they are the part of the creation of the form of the word. So again, these creatures, all of them, are absolutely necessary in the created word, and they somehow complete the word and make it complete, as the creator, Atum, is the complete one. The name could also be, as I told you before, translated as the complete, the completeness, or completeness, whatever we may produce in our own languages nowadays. So just for confirmation, Umberto Eco's passage, just a little bit to joke with you, but anyway, it really says this, what the text try to say, I believe, as well, that everything in the word is necessary except for really reversed picture of the word. This is not, we cannot do things that destroy the order of the word. But all other creatures, all other dangers are indispensable, because we can use them to protect ourselves. So monsters exist because they are part of the divine plan, and in the horrible features of those same monsters, the power of the creator is revealed. And this power of the creator Atum was revealed in this picture of the pharaoh Unis, who was Atum himself, but with jackal face. Mulțumesc foarte mult